JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, Westmoreland man gunned down in front of family. A construction worker was shot dead in front of his girlfriend and 8-year-old stepson along the Bath Main Road in Westmoreland on Monday afternoon. The deceased man has been identified as 31-year-old Carl Brown, a construction worker of Top Bath District, Savlamar and Townhead, Frome in the parish. Reports from the police are that about 12:45 p.m. Brown was driving a grey Nissan Ring Road motor car, accompanied by his girlfriend, another adult, and an 8-year-old child, when a white Toyota Axio drove in front of them and blocked their path. The report said a passenger of the white Toyota Axio alighted from the vehicle and opened gunfire at the now deceased. Upon seeing what was happening, the male passenger of the Ring Road ran. However, he was chased by the lone gunman who opened fire at him. The man managed to elude the gunman and escaped in a cane field. When the shooting subsided, Brown was found in the car suffering from gunshot wounds to his upper body. He was transported to the Savlamar Hospital by residents, where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing, the police said. Unidentified man's body thrown from car in Portmore. The Portmore police have launched an investigation after a man's body was thrown from a Toyota Probox motor car last night along George Lee Boulevard in Edgewater, St. Catherine. It is reported that the body of the unidentified male had blood coming from the head. The man was clad in a white shirt, khaki shorts, and black slippers. Eyewitnesses say the incident happened at 9:45 p.m. The body was transported to the Spanish Town Hospital in St. Catherine, where death was confirmed. Brother held after sibling struck and killed by a van in St. Elizabeth. A man was taken into police custody Monday night after his brother was struck and killed by a van in Lititz, St. Elizabeth. The deceased has been identified as 30-year-old Renroy Francis. The Corporate Communications Unit has confirmed the incident. Reports are that Francis had incurred a bar bill in his brother's name at a bar. The proprietors of the bar had approached the brother, whose identity the police did not disclose, to settle the bill, triggering an argument between the brothers. Francis left to go home, and his brother reportedly followed him. Reports later emerged that Francis had been run over by a van. The brother reportedly fled the scene and was eventually held by cops in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. He has not been officially charged. William Nebai, student charged with fatal stabbing of schoolmate, pleads guilty to manslaughter. The William Nebai school student charged with the fatal stabbing of his schoolmate, Kamal Hall, pleaded guilty to manslaughter when he appeared before High Court Judge Andrea Thomas in the Trelawney Circuit Court on Monday. Hall was fatally stabbed on Monday, March 21, during an altercation with the accused over a ring. Hall, who was of D-side Trelawney address, was the goalkeeper of the school's football team that competed in last season's Da Costa Cup competition. The accused was charged after being questioned by detectives in the presence of his attorneys at law. He is represented by attorney at law Marissa Dalrymple Filbert. His bail was revoked until Thursday, December 1, when he is scheduled to reappear in court for sentencing. Thursday court date for a cop, 3 accused in murder for a hire plot. A district constable and 3 alleged hitmen implicated in a murder for a hire plot, which had targeted 3 women in St. James, are scheduled to appear in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday. It is reported that a green card holder who lives in the United States had paid the men $400,000 to execute the women. 3 of the accused were arrested and charged last December when the police, acting on information, intercepted a motor car in Kingston and thwarted the planned execution. When the matter was mentioned yesterday, only Adrian Graham and Chavoy Bale were brought before the court, while Senior Parish Judge Lauren Cole Montague was informed that the police were unable to ascertain why the other 2 accused, District Constable Andre Wright and Cavane Green, were not taken to court. The clerk of the court further told the judge that since the matter was first mentioned, 1 or 2 of the accused have never been taken before the court. The judge, while noting that that was concerning, then inquired where they were being kept, and on learning that it was at the Central Police Station, asked, "Isn't that where the prisoners are escaping?" She further noted that the police should ensure that there is some proper form of management taking place, as the prisoners ought to be taken to court on their court dates. The matter was subsequently rescheduled for Thursday for all of the accused to be present, while Graham and Bale were further remanded. The police, acting on intelligence on December 23 of last year, went to premises in Constant Springs, St. Andrew with a search warrant where they found an assortment of guns and ammunition. including an American tactical hybrid rifle, along with 30 5.56 caliber rounds and several police items such as ballistic vests, police uniform shirts and pants and handcuffs. The police on the same day went to a fast food restaurant along Washington Boulevard in St. Andrew, where they intercepted a Toyota Yaris motor car with the district constable Bailey and Graham. The lawman was reportedly found in possession of a loaded Glock 26 pistol with 11 cartridges. It is alleged that Writer told the police that it was a licensed firearm, but checks revealed that was not true. The police team also went to premises in Duane Park, also in St. Andrew, where they reportedly found items belonging to the Jamaica Defense Force. Green was reportedly arrested at that location. All 4 accused were taken into custody and later charged with conspiracy to murder. The police had seized Wright's phone, and an analysis of it reportedly revealed conversations between him and the contractor. At the time of the men's arrest, Bailey, who had reportedly given the police a false name, was allegedly on the run in relation to a 2017 murder. Jamaicans nabbed by Cayman Coast Guard on boat with Ganja. 3 Jamaicans are among 4 men charged after the boat in which they were traveling was intercepted by the Cayman Islands Coast Guard on Saturday. All 4 are charged with being concerned with the importation of ganja. They appeared in court on Monday, November 7, and the Jamaicans were remanded in custody, while the West Bay Cayman man was offered bail. The 4 will next appear in court on December 6. According to a statement from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, shortly after 12 a.m. on Saturday, November 5, while on patrol, the crew of a Cayman Islands Coast Guard vessel observed a fishing canoe-type vessel approaching the northern coastline of West Bay. Upon seeing the Coast Guard vessel, the canoe-type vessel attempted to evade the officers but was soon stopped and brought under control. An initial search of the vessel revealed the presence of several large packages containing suspected ganja, totaling over 500 pounds. The 3 men who were aboard the vessel, Jamaicans ages 35, 42, and 57, were arrested on suspicion of importation of ganja. The officers conducted searches of the shore in the vicinity and discovered a 4th man, age 40, of West Bay, who was in possession of several fuel drums. He was arrested on suspicion of being concerned with the importation of ganja. The others were subsequently arrested. Government proposing approximately $60 billion increase in national budget. The government is proposing to increase the national budget by approximately $60 billion. The additional spending is contained in the first supplementary estimates 2022-23, which was tabled in the House of Representatives this afternoon by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark. The Parliament previously passed a budget of $912 billion for the 2022-23 fiscal year. Among other things, the additional spending is to cover public sector compensation, drain cleaning and road patching, help for PATH students, support for the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC, and debt payment. Clark said the increased spending is made possible by better than expected revenue inflows. Opposition calls for government to fix port delays. Opposition spokesperson on industry, investment and global logistics, Anthony Hilton, is calling for the government to take action to fix the problems at the Port of Kingston, which have resulted in a growing backlog of goods ahead of the Christmas season. Hilton points to reports of heightened surveillance and inspection of goods by the Customs and Border Control agencies as one of the factors causing delays. He argues that delays to the clearance of vital supplies and materials for producers and consumers in the peak Christmas season is increasing the risk of the economy slipping into a recession and prolonging the negative economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The response of the Bank of Jamaica in increasing the policy rate multiple times has resulted in increased interest rates on credit to the productive sector as well as households. Coupled with the rising cost of fuel and basic food items, the pressure on businesses and the most vulnerable has been mounting, he states in a media release on Tuesday. Hilton is calling on the government to take the lead in urgently engaging all stakeholders in the port community in a discussion to fix the problems as quickly as possible. The micro and small enterprises, as well as the poor and the vulnerable classes, deserve a good Christmas season after the COVID-19 pandemic, he adds. 5 tuberculosis cases identified among inmates at correctional facility. 5 inmates at a local correctional facility have been diagnosed with tuberculosis (TB). In a release on Tuesday, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, in collaboration with the correctional services, says it is now conducting tuberculosis screening for inmates at the local correctional facility. The facility was not named. The inmates have been hospitalized and are responding well to treatment, the release said. No staff members tested positive for TB. The Department of Correctional Services says the contacts of the hospitalized inmates have been identified and are being screened. Already close to 100 inmates have been administered the Mantoux skin test, which, together with screening for symptoms, including coughing, weight loss and fever, is done as part of the first level of evaluation for TB. The next level of evaluation involves a chest x-ray and a sputum test, for which inmates are currently being scheduled. TB is caused by a bacterium called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It usually attacks the lungs, though it can attack any part of the body, including the kidneys, spine, and brain. Not everyone infected with TB bacteria becomes sick, with the result that there are two TB conditions that exist. These are latent TB infection, which is where the bacteria live in the body without getting you sick, and TB disease, which is where the bacteria are active in the body. If not treated properly, TB can be fatal. On to sports news. Coaches' room missed opportunity in Monday Night Football draw in JPL. Both Portmore United and Veer United failed to spark in a 0-0 draw in the Monday Night Football game in the Jamaica Premier League, JPL. Fans have come to expect fast, exciting football on Monday nights at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. However, that was completely lacking in the most recent matchup, as it was a game of defenses on top. The teams managed to carve out a few chances on either side of the halftime whistle. However, poor finishing was the order of the day. In the end, Portmore United head coach Philip Williams admitted that a draw was a fair result. Based on the run of play, we are pleased with coming away with a point, he said. Williams thought that after an ordinary first half, the personnel changes he employed made a bit of a difference offensively. In the first half, I think we were a bit behind for the most part. In the second half, we made some changes. We got our front players to be more mobile, and I think that caused the Veer team some amount of problems. He also admitted that the area of finishing is something that both he and his coaching staff will need to address in training. We got quite a few chances, and I think that with a much more clinical strike force, probably would have gotten all 3 points. But in terms of creating the chances for the front players, I don't think we did enough. It was only the second game of the season for Portmore, after their scheduled encounter was postponed last week due to the threat of rain. So Williams sought to take the positives from the result. This is our second game, our second draw. Would have loved to have gathered more points, but we're setting ourselves up for a push the longer the season goes on, he stated. A draw is a positive result, and I think a clean sheet is also a positive result, and that is something that we have to take away from this game, he reasoned. Linval Dixon, who took over the reins at Veer United ahead of the start of the season, said they were hunting a positive result in their third game of the campaign. We came here for a positive result, but I think our first half was much better than the second half, because we could have scored in the first half, but we didn't take the chances. Like Williams, the main area of focus for Dixon will be the performance of his players in front of the goal. We have now picked up 2 points from 3 games, and Dixon is hopeful that 3 points will come from their next encounter. We know that we cannot draw all the games. We have to win games, so we have to score goals. So we'll definitely look at it very, very seriously in training, and hopefully get it right the next time. Jamaica College get the better of Haile Selassie. Jamaica College are one step closer to the semi-finals of the Issa Digital Manning Cup after defeating Haile Selassie 2-0 in their quarter-final game at Stadium East this afternoon. Kevin Wilson opened the score in the 20th minute, and Jamali Bennett added another in the 62nd, putting Haile Selassie on the brink of elimination. Jamaica College maintained their lead of Group 2 with 6 points and could secure their semi-final spot based on the result of the St. Andrew Technical High School versus Wilmers Boys School that was underway at news time. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.